So, welcome everybody to our short game developer session. I'm Konrad from Fusion Play, and here you see Tom playing the PlayStation VR 2 version of Across the Valley. And we just wanted to talk a little to you and show you how the game looks like, how it plays, and what exactly we're doing here. So, you see the task board here. These are your current primary and secondary tasks. This basically tells you what to do and is like your primary quest line, which step by step unlocks new items, new animals, and so on. This is the farm. This is the hub area, as we call it. And as you can see, movement is done via teleportation, but not the traditional teleportation. We call it an action point system, so there's different action points you can port to. And every time you teleport to one of these action points, you're automatically oriented that you look in the correct direction. So as you can see, every time he ports to a field, the field is always in front of him, even when it's in reality next to him. And yeah, so what is Across the Valley about? It's more or less like, think about like job simulator on a farm. So it's all about doing stuff with your very own hands and seeding and watering your plants and now harvesting. So the corn is already ripe and Tom is harvesting it. And one thing that's really important to me as I hear it now, just listen to the music. It gets a little excited now that he's harvesting the cool fruits and the cool corn he has. After he's finished harvesting the stuff, you will hear that the music does not do an immediate switch, but instead the music just calms down and gets a little quieter and more relaxed. And it's the same again. I hope you heard it. As soon as he starts collecting fruits from the next plants, the music gets aroused again and gets more excited to underline that you're something doing on your farm. And this is part of our audio design. We wanted to have a relaxed mood because it's all about just chill out on your farm, grow some crops, cuddle some animals and stuff like that. It's not a hectical game. But also we wanted to underline the current mood, and so we have a audio sync mechanism that synchronizes two versions of the same audio file, and every time you finish a minigame, like now, it slowly fades over from one to the other, but not simply just fading over, it always looks for action points in the music. So like if there's currently a drum roll, it will immediately switch after the drum roll to the more intense or less intense version. But if there's nothing exciting at this very moment in the music, then it just fades slowly over from intense to calm version. And we're using this technology for our next title as well, but I can't tell too much about this yet. So what you see here is Tom is doing the field work. So he got some seeds and starts sowing some plants, and the task is to cover the soil as good as possible with the seeds. So the better he does this job, the better the percentage you see, and also, more important, the more plants will grow. So it's not just pressing button A will seed out or will sow the seeds. It's more like you're doing this stuff, and the better you do it, the more plants you will have. And with the other tasks, it's the same as well. If you screw up watering your plants and half of your plants don't get water, they will die. So it seems like you need some corn as well next to the wheat. Plants have basically two different meanings and two different purposes in the game. On one hand, they are just goods that can be sold or used for orders to make money. And on the other hand, some of the plants, you need to have 5 of them, are food for your animals. So it's fodder that you need to make them, keep them happy. They won't die if you don't get them food, because they always have some basic hay to stay alive, but they will be much more happy if you always get them some corn for the cows and some carrots for your sheep, and for the pigs you need some potatoes and so on. And here's your shop cart. At the shop cart you find the order book. This is what Tom currently holds in his hand, and you can buy new seeds here by just taking the book and selecting the seeds you need and buying them. We use the PlayStation haptics feedback that as a two-way authorization for buying stuff. The moment you click on it, you will feel a resistance in your finger, and you need to overcome the resistance to assure, yes, I really want to spend my money to buy this now. And this feels like a ka-ching. As you hear it, it exactly feels like you hear it. How to describe it? So Tom seems to need some more seeds to get all of his 4 fields he currently has stuffed with crops. Besides these fields, you also seen the shop cart he just visited, and there's not only the shop book, the order book to order new seed, but there's also a way to sell your stuff. And for that you need to just get them and throw them on a cart. But first, let's visit our chicken. Yeah, there's currently 2 chicken here. They get names and they get them automatically, so you can't name them unfortunately, but each chicken will have a different name. And you can cuddle them, as you've seen, and they need water every day, so if you don't give them water every day, they won't be super happy. And sometimes when the food is empty, you need to get them some food. And when they lay eggs, you can collect them here as well. So, what next to do? Let's get into the barn. And here we are in the barn. As you can see, currently it's quite empty because the save game is not far enough in the game to have multiple animals of each type. So this seems to be the single cow. It's called Olga. As you can see, there's a portrait of her on the wall to just remember how your cow is named. And she needs water, obviously. Yeah, Tom is pumping enough water for 5 animals, but it won't get dry immediately, so if you do too much water here, it will slowly dry out over the days, but you won't do it without any sense, yeah. Also, the cows need food, as you see. And now let's go to the sheep. Oh, here's 2 sheep already, and they're ready to be shown. So this is one of the animal minigames we have, and it's the same as with the plant minigames. Once in a while you need to do these games, and they're all player skill based. So it depends on your skill how well the results will be. So the more wool you cut off the sheep until the music runs out, the more wool you will get. As you can see, the second sheep is already waiting, but you always have 1 sheep that is shown symbolically, you can say, and then the result is multiplied with the amount of sheep you have in total. Yeah, but don't cut the sheep here. If you cut it in his tail or in the legs or somewhere, it won't like it, probably. And also it will block your skizzers for 3 seconds, so you can't use the skizzers 3 seconds after you've cut the sheep. So try to avoid it. And sometimes it's quite hard to get all of the wool parts and not cutting the sheep. As you can see, it's quite a lot. So here's the result. 9 out of 10 is quite good. And 2 sheep, so it's in total 18 wool. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So let's go to the sheep. The society, you can see there's they got German names, as we are a German dev studio here. And with the sheep there's also portraits of them on the wall, so you can see always how much space you have for sheep and how many sheep you have. And Frony seems to be happy, has enough food and has enough water and was cuddled, yeah. But let's give them some more water. So, that's enough. I don't know if we already got a pig or not. It seems like Tom doesn't have a pig already unlocked. Because they're super cute. And one thing you need to know before, with animals, they don't just come grown out. When you buy them, they are just tiny little cute little animal babies, and you need to just grow them until they are mature. So the first days they won't produce any wool or milk or eggs or something like that. They are just little animals that needs to be cuddled and fed and need some water until they are grown out. This is the planning table. With the planning table, you manage your farm. So you can buy new fields, new animals, upgrades for your house, upgrades for your cart, and stuff like this. So it's like a miniature version of your farm. And in the background, you've seen there's a current list of resources that you have. So Tom just noticed he doesn't have enough money to buy another field. So he goes to the board to sell stuff, and you can put it into box mode. That's what he has now. Then he's selling 10 items at one time. So it's boxes with 10 wool, 10 carrots, whatever. And yeah, I think he has some tomatoes left. And if you put it back upwards, then you're in single mode. Then you're selling not boxes of tomatoes, but instead single tomatoes. Or if you don't throw them in the cart, you don't sell them. And the lever you see next to this storage shelf is determining if you're selling 10 times the goods at once or not. So, I just noticed why he wants to buy a field, because his current task is get at least 5 fields and he has 4. So now I got a 5th one, so he can complete his task. Yay! Go back to the task board. And you see it's done. And then you can just tear it down and gets a new task. It's pigs. You just unlocked a pig. And yeah, mostly the tasks are like when you unlock something, you get a task of using that or getting that. Like when you unlock pigs as the new animal type, your task is to buy a pig now. And that's what he's doing. And he doesn't have enough money. By the way, when buying stuff, it's the same at the planning table. Buying stuff is the same as buying stuff with the order book, so you feel the haptics in the PlayStation. So now he's going to bed, skipping the day, ending the day, and waking up in the next morning. Here's something special for the PlayStation version as well. If you're going to bed, then you will probably feel it. It's like knocking on your head 3 times that says you're going to bed. On the SteamVR version, it's instead your controllers that knock at you and say, dip, 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 now it's time to sleep. And as we're talking about feeling, of course, everything you do has haptics related to it. So if you're using the watering can and watering, you feel a little tickle in your hands while water is coming out. And if you're using the rake and digging it through the ground, then you feel it as well. So he's watering his wheat. And yeah. Watering wheat is an easy task. Depending on the type of crop you're growing, they are differently prone to getting enough water or not. So like salad is really super hard. They always need as much water as they can get, otherwise they will die. Wheat is super easy to work with. Yeah, when there's wheat, you need to rake it. These little green plants in the middle of the bigger green plants in that case. You take the hoe, and before your energy runs out, you need to remove as much as you can. And this time he removed all, so he got a perfect score, and all plants will stay alive. The best is to pull the rake in a straight line and get as much wheat covered with one stroke as possible. Because every time you release the hoe from the ground and put it again into the ground, it costs more energy. So just hacking with the hoe on the ground will immediately drain your energy within seconds and won't take you anywhere. So you really need to do this. And that's what we are about with the game. You really need to do the same stuff that you would do in real life. Obviously, it's much easier than in real life, and it's much more accessible because a lot of people just don't live out in the farm or in the fields. They just live in a big city where it's gray outside, and they don't want to escape reality and say, oh, okay, just want to sow some tomatoes and then harvest them one business day later. That's what we're going for here. Oh, it seems like a hard decision where to put the last seeds to. 92% is quite good, but there seems to be one crop missing. So he didn't get all plants, just 9 out of 11 carrots. Ooh, that could have been better, but yeah, nice shot. Okay, so we're going to our chicken again, and they're quite happy. You can see their happiness meter is the smiley in the middle. And it mostly depends on the sources they have. So if your animals have enough food, enough water, and if you cuddle them, they will stay happy. And for the bigger animals in the barn, you will also need to remove the poop once in a while. Otherwise, it will stink and yeah, they will get unhappy as well. So let's go back to the barn and see what surprises we have today. So we see we can have pigs already because the pig area is there and there's one picture frame for pigs. So this means we can have one pig, but there's no picture inside of it. So it means we doesn't have one already. For the sheep here in the background, you can see 3 picture frames. So Tom could have more sheep than he currently has. He only owns 2. I think because of financial reasons. The more animals you get, the more expensive they become, and also the more crops you need to feed them, obviously. Yeah, Heidi's only mediocre happy. She seems to complain. So let's check the water level. Yeah, it looks good, but give it a pump. I don't give them more water than they need. Alright. So now let's see if we get enough money to buy a pig. We hope so. Have 44. Pig costs 60. So Tom probably needs to sell something outside, but he has enough goods. He just needs to go to the cart and sell some stuff to get enough money for buying the pig. Yeah, so many tomatoes there. Yeah, so it switches to selling 10 at once and just sell some boxes of tomatoes. And now there should be enough money to buy the first pig. Alright. Now the next thing is pet the pig and feed it. So let's go to the barn and look after our little piglet. It's still super tiny, as you can see. And it's called Alina. The names are selected automatically from a big list of random names. And Alina seems to be quite happy now. And she's super cute, obviously. So pigs need potatoes. So each pig eats 1 potato per day, or 1 portion of potatoes. And each pig needs 1 amount of water per day. If you put in more, then it will take multiple days until it runs out, so you don't need to stock up every single day. But cuddling is something you can do every day. So now we have a pig, we've cuddled it, and we've gave it some food, So we can finish the quest, and there's the next quest. Turnips. We need to plant turnips, because they are needed to go on truffle hunt with the pigs. So this sums up our first developer diary, and if you liked it, let us know, then we'll probably do another one. And if you missed the start, and this is a recording, depending on if you're seeing this live or pre-recorded, then you can just wait until it repeats all over and see the first parts of the stream as well. I hope you liked it, and have a great day.